In today's video, we are going to deep dive into exploratory data analysis. We are going to learn how to handle missing values when the missing values are not null. In the previous video, we have learned how to handle missing values when they are none. We have studied two methods, drop NA and fill NA method. In this video, we are going to learn a four-step mechanism to handle missing values when the missing values are not none. Now, let's begin by first importing the necessary libraries. Import NumPy as NP, import pandas as PD. Now let us import our dataset. df is equals to pd dot read underscore csv. Now let's run this. Now let us look at the head of our dataset. df dot head. So this is a cards dataset. So we have sibling, normalized losses, make, fuel type, body style, drive wheels, engine location, width, height, engine type, engine size, horsepower, city MPG and highway MPG and price. Now, if you observe, there are question marks in normalized losses. It means there are missing values in normalized losses. At a glance, you see that there are no missing values in other columns. Now, to check if there are any missing values in the dataset, we have to check its info. Now let us check the info of this dataset. df.info. Now let us see. Sibling is an integer type. So you have numbers over here for sibling. So it is of integer type. Normalized losses, over here it is written that normalized losses is object type. But if you observe, normalized losses is numbers. It's a numerical column. But over here it says that it is an object data type. This is the classic way in which array behaves. Arrays can only be of one particular kind of data type. If it is having a mixture of both integers and objects, it will consider it as an object data type. So over here, normalized losses is considered as object data type when in reality it should be a numerical column and it should be either an int64 or a float64. Now let us check for other columns. Make is an object data type. That is agreeable because you have your make of the car, Alfa Romeo, Audi and all. Now let us check for fuel type. Fuel type is object data type. Again it is agreeable because you have gas and diesel. Body style, again object data type, your convertible hatchback. Drive wheels, object data type. Engine location, again object data type. Width is float data type. Height is float data type. Engine type is object data type. Engine size is integer. Horsepower, if you observe, it is saying that it is an object data type. But now let us check. Let us check horsepower. Horsepower has numbers over here. And then why is it saying that it is an object data type? It indicates that there are some missing values in horsepower. Now let us check for city MPG. City MPG is a numerical column, highway MPG is numerical, and price is numerical. So we have two columns which have missing values. We have horsepower and we have normalized losses. Now, to find out what is that missing value, we have an easy solution. We do a value counts of all the elements in normalized losses and horsepower. df normalized losses dot value underscore counts. So it will give you a count of all the unique elements in normalized losses. After running it, we find that there are 41 question marks in normalized losses. So now this is missing value which we have to handle. Similarly, let's do for horsepower. df horsepower dot value underscore counts. In horsepower, there are two missing values. If you see, there are two question marks over here. Now, why do you feel drop NA and fill NA will not work over here? I will give you an intuitive example of it. Now, if you check df dot is NA dot sum, what do we get? df dot is NA dot sum. So it says 0 for all the column. But in reality, we have found that there were question marks in normalized losses and there were question marks in horsepower. So we cannot apply drop NA or fill NA over here because it is not taking it as missing values in the first place. So we have to use our four-step mechanism to handle these missing value. Now let us start the four-step mechanism for handling missing value. What is the first step? Step 1, you have to replace the missing value with none. Replace the missing values with none. Okay, let's do it now. df normalized losses dot replace. We are going to use the replace method. What are we replacing? We are replacing question marks. With what are we replacing the question mark? With np dot none. And remember that we want these changes to be permanent. So we have to write in place equals to true. If we do not write in place equals to true, these changes that we make will not be permanent. Now, similarly, we can do it for horsepower. So, horsepower and replace question marks by np.nan. So, this is the first step, replacing the missing values with nan. Now, what is the second step? Step 2, change the data type. If you would have observed, normalized losses and horsepower is of object data type. And if we want to find the mean of an object data type, it is the most difficult task on this earth. Mean can be found only on numerical data type. So we will have to change the data type of normalized losses. Change the data type. How do we do that? df normalized losses dot as type, we want it as type float. Now remember over here you do not have an in place equals to true parameter in as type. So you will have to reassign this column to make the changes permanent. So df normalized losses is equals to df normalized losses dot as type float. Now the same thing we can do for horsepower. We just replace the place where we have normalized losses by horsepower. So horsepower now the third step. This third step is to find the mean. Step 3, get the mean. In order to find this mean, we change the data type from object to float. So we write df, let's say NL mean for normalized losses is equals to df normalized losses dot mean. And same way we can do for horsepower, HP mean is equals to df horsepower dot mean. Now we go to the final step. That is, now we can use fill any because now our missing values is in the form of nan. So we can use the fill any method. So step 4, use the fill any method. So we write df normalized losses dot fill any NL mean in place equals true. So we want all these changes to be permanent, hence we write in place equals true. Let's do the same thing for horsepower over here. Horsepower. Replace it by HP main. Now let us check how our DF looks. So after running, our DF looks something like this. So over here, if you remember, we had question marks. Now it is replaced by the mean of normalized losses. I hope all the 4 steps, that is step 1, replacing the missing value with none, step 2, changing the data type, step 3, get mean, and step 4, fill any method, is clear for one and all.